Welcome back to The Way Forward. Today, I'm sharing this space with someone who has been a steady heartbeat in my life, my sister. Around here, we like to call her Better Peace because she brings that quiet clarity and calm to a room that doesn't know it needs it until she walks in. That's her. This episode, it's not just a monologue or a conversation, it's a moment. It's a little window, a crack, a peephole into the Moody Verse where Peace finally gets to speak for herself. So settle in, open your mind, and let's find our way forward together. Introducing Better Peace.
Hey there, Better Moodies. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you may be in the span of time. Today I am here thanks to the invitation of Better Moody. And I just want to say thank you for the opportunity and the privilege to be here today on this Way Cool podcast. This is Better Peace, and I'm here today to share my why with you. So why would I do a podcast like this? One, I do have a very intelligent, somewhat bossy older sister who has invited maybe in quotations, just kidding. She did just invite me to do this show. And she is a persistent cookie. She's smart, she's beautiful, independent, and quite persistent, which I appreciate and value. And I am showing up for peace. I'm showing up for peace today. Why am I here? Because I am in search of peace. And what's really interesting is that I have discovered that talking things out gives me a lot of peace. Just talking things out. I mean, research definitely shows that when we have meaningful conversation in our lives on a regular basis, that it actually increases not just our quality of life, but our physical length of life. Unless you get hit by a car, which would be really unfortunate, but does happen. So, sad story there. But I'm just looking to find that peace for myself. So, people get therapists for this. They talk to certified people who are educated and specialize in the realm of helping us talk through our lives. And I just kind of talk to the people around me. You know, they don't always give the best advice or anything, but it just feels good to talk about it, you know? So I let everyone have it. I mean, family, coworkers, friends, my children. You know, if you're lucky enough to run into me almost on any given day, I likely have a story and I want to share it. And if you make eye contact, that person could be you. So speaking of my sister, my older sister, Better Moody, I remember when we were kids that our mom, who's Jamaican, we're Jamaicans, she used to wash her underwear by hand, right? Like this was a thing, probably because laundry was done back in her day by hand. And so you would wash your private items on your own. But as we were growing up, we were taught also to wash our private items on our own. And I recall asking my sister, how could we squeeze all the water out? You know, you wash something by hand, you squish it in your hands. We don't do that a lot these days. But you get the soap in there, you lather it up, you squish it in your hands and rub it all around, and then you rinse it out. And how do you squeeze all the water out? And I must have been, 8 or so years old, which made her about 10. And she informed me that only the big Indian chief could do this task. And I was mind blown. I mean, floored. All I could picture was a Native American with the nice, beautiful feathered head garb standing over his tribe and the women bringing their undergarments to him to be fully wrung out. The big Indian chief. And mind blown, just mind blown. And I believed her. I believed her for a long time. So she's the one who convinced me to show up here today. And I'm so glad she did. I'm thankful for the advice she gave me throughout my life. Big Indian chief. Hey, let's do this podcast. I mean, next level. So thankful for her. So I am looking for a place of peace in my life. You know, when you go through all kinds of things, everyone is going through all kinds of things, but we feel like our thing is the biggest, which makes sense. We're individuals. Our thing is the biggest. My whole life exploded about 6 years ago when my now ex-husband went into psychosis and became homeless and just kind of blew up our family. I just had our third child, who's now 6 years old. And it's just been a journey. And the whole time you're going through something that just, you know, you're on a trajectory and like you're thinking my life is going like this, you're planning it. You know, you're thinking about where you live, you're going to pay your little rent, you're going to plan your little meals, you're going to plan your little meetings with your friends, you're going to show up to work. We have our lives like in order. And then all of a sudden, like an atomic bomb drops and everything changes. Everything doesn't just change. It's like this horrendous explosion that decimates what you thought was your life. And now you have to pull all those pieces together. And you're just like looking through the rubble. Like, what do I keep? And what do I leave? And where does this belong? And what is this even? And so it just makes you like question and reevaluate your whole life when we go through these big life events. And what's so crazy is like people are going through these big life events all the time. All the time. And all that we can control is what we do during those events, next after those events, or things that keep impacting us. We can just control our own actions. So one of the things that I have come to the conclusion of is that peace is what I'm looking for. You know, this big explosion happens, and where do you find your peace? Because these big explosions happen to us unexpectedly when we're not ready for them. We'll never be ready for them. But what you can control is getting your own peace. So I often now think of a table and I just think, what is on my table? This is the table where peace exists. And do I have enough space for these things on my table? But life is like full. You have these big events that mess things up, but then life is like full of all of these huge, the huge things happen, but life is full of all these little things that interrupt our peace. And people try to put those little things on your table, or life tries to put those little things on your table. And so you have to make space on the table to say, this is how much space I have for peace. Sometimes people just have a little table and lots of things people drop off, really stresses us out quickly. Sometimes people have a huge table. Like I especially feel like, you know, people who have been through a whole lot of stuff, it's like their table is always expanding. So when you come drop, you know, a little minor inconvenience, they're just like, oh, that little thing's on my table and I have space for peace for that little thing. And there's just, I mean, sometimes it's just like super little annoying things will drop, but there's no more space on the table. So how can we expand? That's what I've been thinking about. How can I expand my table of peace? And the more that I expand it, the more space I'll have so that when my little sweet child comes along, opens up their wrapper in my car and leaves their trash on the floor, like we live in a dumpster. I mean, it's just piling up back there. Like, what is happening? How easy is it to pick up your trash and take it out of the car, put it in your backpack? I mean, eat it for all I care. Just why is it still in the car? So these little things, the question is, do I have space on my table of peace for the trash that no one could pick up, that they had to leave on the car floor for the 10,000th time? Is there space? You know what else really gets me is why at the hospital? All right, I work at the hospital. Why don't they make the fitted sheets big enough to fit on the hospital beds? Do they hate us? Do they despise us? Do they want to see me wrestle in front of the patient with this little fitted sheet that will not fit on the corners? How long? How long has the hospital been in existence with hospital beds that require sheets? Why? Why do they do these things to us? And so I've made space on my table for fitted sheets that are too small for hospital beds. And that's where I'm at today. I have to make space on my table for fitted sheets. So what do you need to make space on your table for? And that's what's brought me here to this podcast. Big sister, big Indian chief, Better Moody. Here I am today making space on my table so that I can have peace. Because there is nothing like going through your day, being able to watch yourself survive each of those little moments with peace and calm.
Yes, you were listening to Better Peace in her debut episode on The Way Forward. I do want to say, what does get you? What gets under your skin? By the way, Better Peace, yes, there is a hidden camera and it is recording all the nurses wrestling with sheets and being sold on the dark web. So that's how we get the money for the sheets. Apparently, there's not a whole lot of demand for those videos. You're going to have to kick it up a notch, and then they'll have the correct funding. They'll have the right amount of funding to work it out. I look forward to hearing more from Better Peace on Wednesday mornings. So I invite you to come back and join us then. If talking gives you peace, go ahead and talk it out. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about politically incorrect children and Indian chiefs. Or, if you are also looking for peace, how are you resetting the table? This is Better Moody. I will see you in the next episode. And we're out.